All right, we are live. He's usually so loud when I say that.
Oh, I
Oh,
don't know. I thought
I'm
I thought
sorry, I didn't see you there.
I didn't see you guys there. This is me, Christian. That's Killian, and you're listening to the Bias Cut. It's a podcast about fashion, hosted by two young men on the come up on the rise.
Usually you say
Um,
losers, and you had the perfect example of that playing your nerd games, whatever they're called.
Boo! This is a Game Boy. It's called a Game Boy. Okay. And I was just playing it because keeping things fresh by doing a bit. How are you
There's
doing,
no way he
friend?
has Tears of the Kingdom yet. He can't have it yet.
I don't even want to talk about it. How are you doing, friend?
I'm doing well. I'm refreshed. I'm relaxed. I'm back. I went on vacation. Uh,
That's sick.
it was sick. It was like a full week long vacation, which I hadn't done since before COVID.
That's incredible and
Yeah.
edible. Where did you vacation to?
I went to Montreal,
Ooh.
Canada.
Canada. Okay.
I don't know how you say Canada with an accent.
Montreal, Canada.
Yeah, so international jet setting
Yeah,
lifestyle.
hanging out with the Quebecers, the however they say it, Quebec people.
Quebecois.
Quebecois.
Uh,
Yeah, that's really cool. I haven't been in Montreal. I haven't been there since I was like 5.
See, that's the thing. I'd been when I was much, much younger as well, and it deserved an adult trip. You know what I mean? And so you live in the Windy City, the city of brotherly love.
Both of those things are
Um,
what people call them. The
yep,
City of Lights.
yep. So you're
Um,
you're used to having just
yeah.
like the culture at your fingertips. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're just in the buzz, in the electric boogaloo of the city.
This is all correct, and I hope anybody watching is wondering what city could that possibly be. It could be anywhere at this point.
Tell them where you
But
live. Full address if possible.
yeah, I live in Kansas City, Utah, and my address is Brigham Young Way, 123
Oh
Brigham Young
no.
Way, Kansas City, Utah.
So here's the thing. When I travel, um, you got to find the spots. You know what I mean? For guys like us, you find the spots. I don't know if that's special to you when you do travel because you've got all these places around you anyway, just in your everyday life. But for me, when I travel, I'm like, what's out there, right?
Yeah,
I'm on
yeah.
maps, I'm googling things.
First off, Killian, I have been
Yeah.
called the Anthony Bourdain of the millennial generation. Sorry, the Anthony Bourdain of the Zoomer generation. I misspoke.
Right.
So yeah, when I travel, I usually pack one bag, and my leather jacket and
Mhm.
my whole carton of like camels, just like Anthony would do.
Mhm.
And I have pre-selected, at least typically if I go to a city and I have any time there, I want to find out what is the cool store
Yep.
or cool spot
Yeah.
that you could go to because you and I, or at least me, I'll speak for myself. I participate in this hobby called fashion, and that hobby really is buying things. So of
Right.
course my activity, like, oh, this guy likes this, he goes and does that when he's in a new place. I go and look for a store, of
Right.
course.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So basically, what you were saying with subtext, I took much longer to say. But what's your point,
It's
brother?
fair though. At least we're on the same page and we know this. So there's a few in Montreal that are well known. Probably none more so. I figure I'll just go right into it with the big boy. None more so than Essence,
Mm-hmm.
Sense as some call
Hence,
it. Uh, so yeah, I went to the real deal. Um, I don't know if you've ever ordered from their web store. I do somewhat regularly. I get a box that says QC Montreal for and it doesn't say from Essence. It says from like
From
the
Saint Laurent.
Ayatollah
Oh,
Corp or something. I don't know.
whenever I order anything from Essence, I don't know why, but it says it's from Saint Laurent. Maybe I'm like being pranked or I'm being like fished, and but yeah, like if somebody said like, does Montreal have anything to do with fashion? The first thing that would come to my head would be like, well, Essence is there, and I think Essence is the coolest website.
Right. So here's the lowdown. I passed by once thinking I was just going to pop in. It's right around the corner from like the big fancy church that everyone goes and looks at the architecture at.
Okay.
So I was like, twofer, I'll pop in.
Praise God.
They were closed. Like
what?
they were open. There were people inside. They were working and stuff. Doors were locked. Go on their website and they're like, oh, you have to make an appointment.
Yeah.
You have to go. You have to add things to your wish list. Tell them what you like. They'll pick them out, and then you have to make an appointment. And I was like, I don't really want to do that because I don't really think I want to buy anything. The sale isn't happening. Like, I don't really want to just have them pull a bunch of stuff just to try it on and then leave.
This is like an episode of Crossfire because I disagree entirely.
Hit me.
I mean, dude, like just if I had a nickel for every time I went into a store and bought nothing, I would probably have enough money to actually buy something.
Me too. Me too. But not ones that I make appointments for.
I don't know, but you're in Montreal for one time in your life.
Yeah.
At least me being a fashion loser, I immediately think of Essence when I think of Montreal. I don't even know anything about the rest of the culture or the people there.
What language do they even speak there?
I go there speaking English with American dollar bills, and I'm like, can I buy this?
Right.
That's all I know about Montreal and Quebec in general. But I know Essence, and frankly, this is my brain thinking. There are so many pieces that I like save to my Essence like zaddy list.
Yeah,
the opportunity to get somebody just some asshole to go through all this stuff and put it all together for me, like 20 items that I'll never buy. Sure. For me to just go, oh, what a lovely day! I will take a sparkling water, and please bring the clothes out. I will try them on one by one, and then I go, this is so cool. You know what? I need to ask mommy and daddy. I need to ask mommy and daddy first, so I'll be right back.
I got to talk to my banker, the trust fund. It's all tied up in Germany. We'll figure it out. I'll be back. So the totally valid argument. I understand where you're coming from. In the moment, I didn't want to do it for whatever reason.
Okay. That's fair.
But the thing is, I just happened to pass by a second time. We just happened to be in the neighborhood. And I walked past and I was like, oh, the door's open. So I just walked in, and apparently, I don't know if they do like different hours for browsing, but they actually just had the showroom open. So I went in without an appointment, and the final verdict I will give on that is that I understand why they want you to make an appointment, because the showroom fucking sucks.
I imagine. Yeah, right? What was in it?
It's tiny. It's tiny. Not curated at all. Like it's random brands on racks with each other, like all mixed up, like no rhyme or reason or like artisanship to the entire endeavor. Like I've never been to a store of that kind of caliber and stature that was so poorly put together. Yeah.
I guess Pin Blank's comment. He just yells exactly in caps.
Exactly.
We're just doing a blank show tonight. So I'm just trying to like conceptualize this in my head.
Yeah.
Is it like a real showroom? Because at least from the other side, like when you represent brands or you are a brand, you have a showroom for buyers, and then they come and they say, maybe we'll take this. I don't know.
Right.
So like if you're at any kind of agency or any place that like represents like big fashion brands, you'll have like racks or even like displays for those brands. And then the guy from Bergdorf or from Saks or from Essence will come and go flip. So what is their showroom then?
So they have 3 floors that actually have items on them. I think the rest are just like storage or like warehouse or whatever. On each floor, there's like 3 racks, maybe like half length racks. And that's kind of it. So there's 2 floors, 3 racks on each floor, then an accessories and shoes floor.
Okay.
Absolutely tiny. Like I said, just brand, like it'll be like JPG XY project next to engineered garments, next to a Balenciaga piece, it's like, it felt like the rack next to the changing room where they hang up the stuff people didn't buy. It felt like just all that. So I don't really know like what the idea is.
It's the rack next to the changing room.
Yes.
At the mythical and expired Barney's in Chelsea. Right. I mean, it sounds kind of fun still. I don't know. It does sound like it's trash. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't make sense. You know,
it doesn't make sense. And I think like I can tell why they don't even have a thing anywhere online that's like, yeah, you can come just browse if you want, because it's clearly not what they want you to do, not what it's meant for.
Yeah. Like, let's take, for example, the RealReal. They are a platform mostly, and they have done interesting things. They've done interesting things to try to monopolize the resale market. But they have these like flagships. Like they had 2 in New York. They have 1 in New York now. But in those flagships, it's an assortment of basically hot pieces, you know?
Right.
Presumably they have some kind of merchandiser who just like looks through what is being kind of submitted that week or whatever.
Good job.
And well, it seems like it would be a really fun job. I bet it is a sucky job. I bet it is. It's like, I know people who work at the RealReal. Everybody who works there has said like, it's on fire.
It's one of those jobs that you say sweet job to the person who has it, and they're like, no.
Like, get me out of here. Yeah. Like literally, the last person I met who said they worked at the RealReal, I'm like, oh, that must be fun. I guess it's not. But anyway, TLDR, the point of those flagships is kind of to sell things, to actually sell the best merchandise that's worthy of being in brick and mortar.
Yeah.
But really, that's just a loss leader. It's just a thing that they spend money on, so people will think the RealReal. And when they go home, they'll shop on the website or they'll submit things to the website. Why is Essence doing it other than... I guess the only reason the showroom exists is if rich Canadians can try on their Essence ideas before they purchase, right? Is that seems like the only thing it's good for?
It has to be. And I guess it's one of those things, like I thought to go there, right? It was like top of my list. So I guess if you exist there, you have to do something almost, right? But I guess I guess the moral of the story, anybody taking notes, is if you decide to follow in my footsteps, just make the appointment. You know?
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess you were too honest. You were too noble.
Noble. And I'll say I went to I don't know if this must be a chain. This place Holt Renfrew. I don't know is there one in New York?
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
It's not something I was familiar with, but it was one of those like multi-brand luxury department stores.
How do you spell this?
HOLT space RENFREW. Holt Renfrew.
Thank you. And that's good for everybody who's listening.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I get the idea.
Okay, Blank says it's Canadian Saks, basically.
Yeah,
but,
it seems as
really good Saks, because they have so instead of Essence, who just has a bunch of stuff that they wholesale and then they sell, this is like each brand has a shop or rack or whatever
It's
inside.
like what's the name of that really big department store from London?
Oh, Selfridges.
Yeah, they do that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
they do.
I mean,
Exactly.
a lot of them do, but yeah, sure. Like
Like,
if you go into the big Macy's on 34th Street, 32nd Street, whatever, there's like a big Ralph Lauren zone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so
say
like
that.
they've got, I don't know, I'll just like Chanel right when you walk in, Louis Vuitton, Prada, Givenchy, Saint Laurent. They got all like the old guy stuff. You know, they had like a Canali store and a Giorgio Armani store and stuff. And then a lot of just like racks of like the smaller and more like streetwear brands and stuff like that. But that was much more my speed than Essence.
Yeah, because it was curated.
Yeah, exactly.
What was your favorite brand when you what was the favorite thing, your favorite thing that you saw?
My favorite thing that I saw was a Givenchy sweater with this giant chunky piece of metal hardware going across like the chest on a strap.
Givenchy sweater, metal hardware strap. Let's see if that pulls up anything. I do not know about that. Well, hopefully we find it. Hopefully we
I'm on it.
Oh yeah,
I got it. Hold on. There. That
guy.
Cool. I really like this guy.
Yeah, I could see why.
Yeah.
It's got, you know, I think obviously metal hardware is a Matthew Williams staple.
Yep.
And it kind of gives me like Daniel Lee vibes. Flip through the pictures for me.
Yeah, 100%. Because there's also a bit more to it. There's like some layering going on as well.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So for the audience, I'll try to describe a sweater to you. It looks like a gray, like dark gray. If I have to hazard a guess, cashmere blend or
wool and silk.
Wool and silk.
Yeah.
Exquisite. It's like a regular fit crew neck sweater with like a strap type detail going across the shoulders behind the back. And right on the shoulder, left or right, I can't tell, but only one.
Right.
There is like a like metal like clasp. It's like a metal hardware detail. It doesn't seem to actually perform any function. It's just a detail.
It's just fun, you know.
So why didn't you pick it up?
So you can see the price right here is $1,585, which I think in Canadian was more like 2,000, which is the exact same as the 1,600 US, but makes it seem even worse when you're looking at the tag and the price on it. So that's why I didn't get that.
That's chump change for me.
I will say I'll give one more and then we can transition because I know we've been on this for a while, but it's been fun. Thank you for hanging.
This is a good dude. I don't even think we should leave this. I think this is a peak.
Okay,
what
good.
Our podcast should talk about. Clothes.
I have one more store for you.
Okay, I'm listening.
Simmons. I'm guessing it's Simmons.
Simmons.
I didn't even know this place existed in Canada. It must be a chain. It gives me like chain vibes, like Saks vibes. But I knew them because they will often have like stupid sales on Rick Owens stuff on their website. I bought one like jumpsuit from them before, a Rick Owens jumpsuit.
Really?
So when I saw the sign, it was like right a block away from our hotel. So I saw the signs as we were driving in. And I was like, oh shit, that's that place that I got the Rick Owens from.
That's the place you rip off. That's the place you're always ripping off because they can't liquidate. You know what's funny? It's not even funny. It's just really, I don't know, consumerism. You can tell so much about what the website or the store or whatever is trying to do based on their editorial imagery, based on their product pages. Like, look how they style these garments.
And I will show you Simmons because it's a very different vibe than like a Mr. Porter or something.
Or what was the name of the last one? The
Holt Renfrew.
Holt Renfrew.
Very different.
But I'm trying to describe with words what we're seeing with our eyes. So we're on the Simon's website. It's got a logo that makes you think that maybe this is a thrift store, or maybe this is a company that it doesn't know what's going on. It just does not say chic to me at all.
No, it's like a leaf next to
sans serif, weird font, not good.
Right.
But sorry, I'm not trying to throw shade. That's just a funny logo. Okay. And now we're looking at some like what do you call these? I forget what the actual word is, the industry word, but it's like the page that has all the product pages.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different types of editorial imagery. So but the general vibe, and this isn't doing the best job of it. The stuff I was looking at before was really selling it. Click on men's hoodies for me. Just do that for me.
Yes.
I'm bossy today. I'm sorry I'm being so bossy.
No, I'm with it.
But this is what I saw immediately. And here's the thing. We got 3 hot guys. We've got 3 hot guys kind of in normal poses. And this is appealing to a normal person or a hot guy, a jock, a Wall Street thing. Because this just kind of looks like normal male ideals.
Yeah.
And the point I bring that up, the reason I bring that up is you can tell a lot about who is buying stuff at the store and what the merchandisers and buyers are thinking about, because this is obviously, they're going to be less bold. They're going to be less daring. They're trying to attract a maybe wider audience. But like, as a result, I bet they can't sell Rick Owens, and that's why it goes on sale.
Here is what I've got for you. It dovetails so well into the reality of the place. So I went in with one idea because all I knew them for was really cheap Rick Owens stuff. It is, I'm trying to think of what the best comparison is. It is probably most similar to like a Nordstrom Rack or Saks Off Fifth or something. Where they have like 95% of the place is like mid-tier. It's not fast fashion, but it's the step above that. It's a lot of
like Macy's,
Dickies, Vans, some, you know,
mid-level stuff.
Yeah, mid-level stuff. And they have the tiniest designer section. Like you have to go up some stairs, you have to go like down a stairwell, and it's off in the corner somewhere.
In a different building behind like the janitor's like office.
Right.
They
didn't even have any Rick Owens in there.
Dang.
Didn't even have any Rick Owens.
Dang, dude.
I'm trying to think of what the selection was. It was like they had some Yohji Yamamoto, Undercover, Acne Studios.
A lot of good brands.
A lot of D Squared. We were in Canada after all.
We were in Canada after all. They
Paul
legally
Smith,
have to carry that.
Ami. And Helmut Lang had a solid rack. And honestly, probably Helmut Lang, for design-wise, had some of my favorite pieces in that luxury section.
Okay.
But let me ask you a question. Would you ever, can you ever see yourself paying retail for a Helmut Lang piece?
Me? I would never be so stupid. Helmut Lang? That's boring. They fell off. Why do you ask?
So I asked because they've actually made some big moves. Well, a big move. Let's not oversell it. It's not multiple. It's a singular big move.
They're not one thing.
One at a time, right? Helmut Lang, this is on Boof, the Business of Fashion. Helmut Lang taps Peter Do.
Peter Do. I've heard his name pronounced, or Peter Do, as I pronounce it.
I like Peter Do. Peter Do, as creative director of Helmut Lang.
I think that's a great move. I really like, and I'll say this, and people are like, you don't like it if you don't pronounce it right, but whatever. Nobody talks to me. I like Peter Do's designs a lot. I think he's one of the cool brands right now. I just really resonate with his stuff. I don't even know. I don't think he's ever made men's clothing, but I just really like what he does. He's kind of, I think he has been tapped into the zeitgeist, and being a New Yorker and his kind of industrial minimal sensibilities, and that those words are thrown around a lot, but they kind of make sense in describing Peter Due's work. That seems like a perfect match for the once iconic house of Helmut Lang.
It is very New York now that I'm looking at it.
Very
Like
New York.
a couple episodes ago, we were talking about New York versus LA fashion. And like this would be a fantastic kind of archetypal image for the New York side, you know, in a good way.
In a very good way. I mean, honestly, I'll put that head to head with friggin' Palm Angels any day of the week.
Right.
Like, if that's what gets to represent my city, you guys are toast. Honestly, because I think it's chic and cool, and he's done a lot of stuff. I feel like he's been ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And I'm genuinely excited to see what he does there, because he's a young whippersnapper. He went to, I want to say, maybe he went to Parsons, maybe he went to the New School. I mean,
gotta be one of them,
Pratt,
right?
Maybe he went to
Fit and won the LVMH
That's what I was about to say. That was what, you know what? That makes him cool. I think anybody who studies fashion, anybody who studies whatever they want is cool. I think the 3 major fashion design schools in New York are very cool. I think FIT is the school to go to, though, because
tell me, because I know nothing. Sell me. I
just think it's the right choice, because you are getting a legit degree in fashion and you're saving a lot more money. It just costs a lot less.
It's like the cost-effective option.
And the reality is, for anybody, and I didn't go there. I only know people who go or gone there, but it's Parsons and Pratt aren't better. They're not better. You go to school in Manhattan. You're being taught by people who are working in the industry. You're literally in the garment district, the worst part of the city. You're there. FIT is just like, I think that's like the subtle flex. Anyway,
I like that. Yeah.
You know, big New York City vibes. I think Peter Due's the right person to do this.
So you say that, but it makes me wonder, because it seems exciting. I agree. It's a big move and a very kind of relevant move, I would say. But if we're kind of excited about this, that must mean that it has the potential to be better than it has been.
Yes.
How do you feel about how it has been? What's the story here?
Has been is the key words. Because I think that it's funny, and we did mention this, guys. We planned this segue. We did mention this before we started. But the thing I was thinking today, I was working on a video, and I was just like, you know, watching stuff, and I was thinking to myself, somebody should talk about how, like, Helmut Lang was like the coolest brand in the year 2000, and it very quickly lost its shine after Helmut left, essentially. And I like, what's kind of curiouser and curiouser, when I first moved to New York City, which was like 10 years ago, about, like, it was multiple years ago, but not a million years ago, there were 2 Helmut Lang stores in Lower Manhattan. You know, prime
2
retail.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And those are prime retail spaces, like in Soho and Nolita. You know, cool, like very Helmut Lang stores. Yeah. But they're gone. They've been gone for a while. Both of them gone. Dust in the wind. And I think it's because, at least for me, you would go in there and the stuff is like, but then, and it's like overpriced, and it's like, it's like, that's too bad. This doesn't hold any of the magic it once did. The other thing is, like, I work with a lot of, or I've worked with people who are, I guess, like Generation X, maybe, you know, people who are like 80s kids, I think, or 90s kids. Yeah. Like, they were like, that's what, like, their eras, or like when they had their childhoods. So they lived and worked in the city in the, like, their prime, like the 2000s. Right. And Helmut Lang was, as I've been told, the coolest brand. Yeah. Everybody wanted to wear it. And the thing about Helmut Lang pieces is you would wear them into the ground. That's that's why somebody made this argument to me in the past of like why Helmut Lang archive stuff is like hard to find or hard to get, or
It's
why
got
it kind of
heat.
became
Like
yeah.
I put it on it. Basically, all the places that also carry archive RAF and are really known for that usually also go hard into the archive Helmut Lang, and
Yeah.
still holds value, still very coveted. There's heat there. Yeah.
I think that, and this has been cliche, and I think maybe it's finally okay for me to say this. Helmut Lang has always been one of my favorite brands, like brands that I've
Right.
admired and think are really cool,
Mhm.
because it's like it was very industrial and minimal and very 90s, and like just
Yeah.
he did stuff that you know we all take it for granted, like The Rock.
Right.
Premium like luxury denim, designer denim didn't really exist at all before Helmut Lang. He made it a thing for people to spend big dollars on denim. He like, I don't know, I just like that sentimentality, that the way that he kind of combined the grit with the luxe and the whatever. Obviously, like the ballistics vest, I think is like a sick vest. I think those Astro jackets are sick. I would have bought those, re-archive pieces, like when they reproduce them, but they cost money, and
can we talk about that?
Had money.
We do talk before these shows, but we did not plan this. But it's so fitting. So I bought one of the re-edition pieces. It's a zip-up hoodie with metal spikes going around the neck.
Do you have it still?
I do. Yeah, I can grab it.
Get it? Can you get it?
You want to fill?
Yeah, I'll fill. Okay. So anybody who wants to say anything, comment right now. Maybe I'll respond to it. Here's a fill I got for you guys. So I'm working on a video. I'm hoping it's gonna be out soon. But this designer, Bobby Cabbage Talk, sent me this Cabbage Stock, and I'm gonna talk about it in the video. I just wanted to show it off a little.
That's cool. I like that. That's really sick. Yeah.
It's obviously inspired by Helmut, but this piece, I should show you guys more, but I just wanted to give you a little
we'll watch taste. The video. We'll be there.
Yeah. There's a lot of more. There's in case you're wondering, there'll be more cool pieces that I show off.
I actually like that. I love that.
If I could keep one thing, I would keep that.
So, the re-edition hoodie, zip up hood, all these little spikes and things. I bought it because it was on Grailed, so it was not retail. And I really like the look. And, Helmut Lang, I've also always respected, but don't have much of. So I was like, great, a reissue of one of the classic piece, et cetera, et cetera. This is one of the most laughably bad from a quality piece of clothing perspective. One of the worst that I've ever owned.
Dang.
It's
really?
Like horrendous. The material is like some of the cheapest material ever. It's a plastic crap zipper. All of these spikes, like they go off in different directions because they're like not seated into it well. The sleeves, like they kind of like flare outwards because there's no like ribbing or mesh at the ends of the sleeves. It's like rock bottom, like Shein, like knockoff tier stuff. Shine.
We call it. That's oh boy, that is tough. That's like when Blizzard remade Warcraft 3, and the remake was like totally real garbage.
Yeah, it's Diablo but on mobile. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, that's a part of it, I think, and it's not. A couple of things I guess I'll say is, like, in retrospect, it might be hard for a young whippersnapper now to look at like the old Helmut Lang stuff and get it, because it's like looking at any old art. The influence of this stuff has trickled, has like kind of proliferated throughout fashion today. Like, seriously. So sometimes it might be like you don't get it, but I'll do a Christmas Carol thing to you, and you'll see a world where it didn't exist.
Right.
It's a Wonderful Life feel. That's what I'll do. I think that to say something maybe more interesting or
Sure.
relevant, I think that right now, or like in the past, Helmut Lang has been in a weird spot because it's
Hmm.
been priced lower than, say, Gucci or
Yep.
Balenciaga.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and they've obviously struggled to kind of right the ship. And I feel like that has led to cutting corners. But
Hmm.
like it has kind of taken a position where it's like appealing to no one, you know?
I 100% think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the what I don't know. I don't know how this mistake happened so big, and maybe if I read about it again, it'll make sense. But it just feels like whoever took over after Helmut Lang left
Hmm.
did not understand that people are only buying the clothes because it was cool, you
Yeah.
know? Because that's how everything works. That's how fashion works. And it's like, if it's not cool, and I don't
Yeah.
mean that in a superficial way, I mean, if it is not novel or interesting to this, like us, to a consumer who would be willing to spend that kind of money on clothes, then it's not going to go anywhere. It's
No.
not going to do anything. So I think that
I,
that's one of their biggest problems.
so personally, I think it can only go up. I don't
Yeah,
see how it
right.
goes down. I'll say that much. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yes.
think that the foundation and the runway are 100% there because it has clearly from the archive heat, it hasn't lost its luster entirely. Like there's something
No.
at the core there that is
Yeah.
just kind of waiting to be
Tapped.
reignited and tapped. And uh, I think that's why it's so exciting. Kind of regardless of who it is, I think it's exciting. But the fact that it's this person, Peter Doe,
Peter Do.
is takes it that extra step. You know?
No, I mean, I think that I wouldn't be excited if it wasn't him. Honestly, because I think he's like
Yeah,
he's young, he's got the eye,
yeah.
and they not only need that, but they need like somebody who's like showing that they have like high fashion chops, you know?
Hmm.
And his brand has only been picking up more and more momentum, and I think like
Yeah.
he's the perfect pick in a way that maybe they got a chance, you know?
It's
Maybe
one of
something will
those. Yeah.
happen.
It's one of those things where you perfectly see the incentive alignment of both
Yeah.
sides. Like you can totally see why Peter Doe would be like, "Oh hell yeah, Helmet Lang! I
Yeah.
love
Oh,
Helmet Lang. I'm gonna
hell
crush that.
yeah.
That excites me. I'm gonna go back into the archives. I'm gonna reimagine things, heat it up." And then from the Helmet Lang side, you can see why they're like, "Oh, hot up and comer, dressing all these people, tons of heat behind it. Like
Yeah.
it's perfect."
Yeah. It's a match made in heaven. And it's only possible, guys, through the system of capitalism. Like
Correct.
we couldn't get it otherwise.
It's
So
the kingmaker system, you know. One
yeah.
person, they rise to the top, the rest they fall below. They
Stepping on everyone's heads all the way there.
and that
Yeah.
separation happens exactly. Exactly. And
Yeah, I could totally see. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I mean, once they get there to the top of the capitalistic pile,
Yes.
there's a certain thing that they're likely to wear.
Money clothes? Oh, okay. Sure.
Yuppie
Sure.
core, whatever
Yuppie
that
gore.
is.
So we're looking at High Somebody Instagram posts because in case you dum dums couldn't put two and two together, all 12 of you, the show is us talking about posts on Instagram,
Yeah.
and so it's a picture of ASAP Rocky in what looks like a navy trench coat, uh, and that is ASAP Rocky, right? I'm
Yeah.
not crazy. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you got it.
And a tie and sunglasses. He looks kind of yuppie.
Sure.
Um, there's a picture of a kind of slouched guy wearing a business casual outfit.
Mhm.
Looks like Margiela Gats, pants, a shirt, tie, suspenders, jacket. Keep going, keep going.
Yep. We're back to
That's
Rocky.
ASAP Rocky again. That guy Mort, the photographer, who's famous. That guy, Jonah Hill, who's famous.
Yep.
But and needless to say, what's the prevailing factor? The connection appears to be kind of like a la high fashion doing business looks. Think like Balenciaga
Yeah.
or maybe Tom Brown. It's
Mhm.
also a la preppy streetwear. Think Ami Leon Dore.
Yep.
And they're calling it yuppie core. And I mentioned this before we started, Killian.
Yes.
My dead horse as of late is that like 2 or 3 years ago, I said, listen, tailoring's coming back. That's what's
Hmm.
next. People are
Hmm.
going to start dressing the sharp, smart, as the British would say.
Right.
And that's the next wave. And I'm here like that guy who keeps predicting the apocalypse and it's never coming. Because I keep saying, I think this is the time. I think this is the
Right.
year. I think that this post is kind of reaffirming that idea, or at least asking.
I
And
mean,
like
it's
the
with you in beating the dead horse because
yeah,
they even call it out here that not that I want to give like any credit to the writing, but in this
I
case, it's like
mean,
somewhat accurate.
they could be
Men,
inceptioning me at this point.
exactly. So
This
they say
my
menswear's latest evolution is a regression, and it's kind of a word soup. But what they're saying, I think, is like, oh, we had normcore and we had dadcore, and looking back to like these eras and the tailoring and the sharpness and stuff. But like, it's all the same thing. I think it's all branches of the same tree, and it's just people like Highsnobiety trying to find a new word to call it so that they have a new post that they can make. Like I don't see anything different about this that makes it a trend beyond all the other trends that have already been named for the past like 3 years.
Killian, why are you blowing up their spot? That's just media. That is media writ large.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Especially fashion news. Nothing
Sure.
happens in fashion. That what is going to happen that's going to change anything? They just have to invent stuff. That is
Right.
the whole job. And Yuppie Core, first off, they're really dismissive because they're like menswear evolution is pretty sluggish in the grand scheme of things, but it's still susceptible to the trends of the day. And so, at the crossroads of quiet luxury and normcore, we find the next stage of menswear, the modern yuppie. Finding that you should call it menswear again. So like just looking at this picture and the one ASAP was
Yeah.
wearing, I disagree that this is a regression. I don't think that's the right way to think about this.
Mhm.
I think that would be as wrong as calling like the rise of streetwear in the last few years a regression to the 80s and 90s. Like
Yeah.
this isn't a regression because these silhouettes and styling and like everything about it is totally painted by our modern
Modern.
sensibilities.
Yeah.
This wouldn't have been what people were wearing during the hashtag Renaissance.
Oh God, no.
Can you go to the next one so I can keep my
Yeah.
mic? I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
Killian. It's just like all I'm doing today is complaining, asking you to do things. I don't. This one I don't feel juicy on.
I don't feel
Next
juicy
one.
on this either.
But so we got Jonah Hill wearing slacks.
Mhm.
You can see his hill, and let's just
Mhm.
say,
Mhm.
ladies, he has an endowment.
Mhm.
He's wearing like khakis, a
Yep.
striped shirt, looks like sandals.
Yep.
It kind of looks like a t-shirt hoodie kind of thing, like a beachy t-shirt
Yeah,
hoodie.
well, like a thin hoodie.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
with
it looks like the pants are like kind of cropped capri type
cropped.
and like with
Yeah.
a raw edge.
And the jacket is like an aloha oi. It's like a Hawaiian print.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this outfit does, really resonate at the frequency of like Nantucket Island or
100.
something, or
Oh,
the
yeah. Oh,
Hamptons.
yeah.
So calling this a yuppie look is accurate. What's the next one? Is that the end of the list?
No, there's two more. They've got
Okay.
one, which is a guy, and I think this is like a Fear of God sweatshirt underneath, I think.
Oh, this looks like an Ami Leon Dore look to
Yes,
me.
100%. And it's kind of out of left field because it's quite a few steps more sporty than anything else they've put in this
Yeah.
photo dump here.
And I don't disagree with this kind of assessment.
Mhm.
And I to get to Highsnobiety's credit, like there are so many people in the industry of fashion who are supposed to like name trends and like say this is what's happening.
Right.
I've heard it so many times, and every time I do, I'm like, I totally disagree to you. You
Mhm.
treat this like it's like a day job. This is my life. Your assessment of what's happening in fashion is boring and old. And this isn't. This is at least like current and understand. Like that's
Sure.
true. The building blocks of yuppie core are in menswear's recent adoption of casual tailoring, faded indigo jeans, and loafers. And that is hot right now.
Mhm.
Those are kind of like things that people are trying to wear.
You have a professor fit on your Instagram from months ago. You were way ahead of
Um,
this.
what's the name of the guy on the Joe Rogan report who
The
pulls
what?
everything up? The guy who pulls everything up.
Oh, Jamie.
Jamie, pull up my Instagram.
Okay. Got this. First result.
Sexy. Sick guy. Sick guy. That is a dope professor.
118 weeks ago. That was not a few months ago.
Don't make me sad. Okay. Life is a walking shadow.
Don't worry, it's a flat circle.
Yeah, that is actually a sick 3-piece tweed suit that I bought in Minneapolis for like $20. And what's so cool about this is it might have been made in like the 70s or the 80s. It is bespoke. This old timer who probably died in this suit has my exact proportions. This suit fits me like a glove, and I look like an Oxford, Harvard professor.
Let me tell you, that is how rare that is, because usually at the thrift store, all of the fire suits are made for people that are like 5'6", but also like 8 feet wide.
Yes. Yeah. I would say the same thing.
Yeah.
And I made, I'm funny, I'm witty. I said something along the lines of, this suit is from the 70s because there is no American man who it fits these proportions anymore. Exactly. They're all obese. And every suit at like Goodwill or whatever, it's a 60 chest and a size 40 waist. 40 waist and a 28 inseam.
I was about to mention the inseam. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was a remarkable thing. That's it. That suit looks sick on me. I think I'm getting a fit off in it. A lot because it's like really nice quality and it fits me so well. You wanted to bring this up to say that I'm ahead of trends.
You made it.
Yeah,
you're ahead of it. You're wearing the 3-piece suit, and also these loafers are in the like you're hitting it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like a David Bowie type. I'm so ahead. I'm so ahead.
Yeah.
Can you go? Jamie, I want to look at one other post on my Instagram.
Please.
Because it's relevant to the show. Scroll down. And I keep all this stuff on here, guys, so that you can see how cringe I've existed my entire life.
Right.
Just
advertising the Grailed. Yep.
I love that. I love that I put my face as a mushroom. Keep going. There it is. Click it.
Which one?
Get me in the white shirt.
Helmut Lang.
Ooh. Look at that.
Ooh.
That was at work. I was supposed to take a picture of that to sell it. So I thought at the time, I had hired my friend Chris as my assistant, my photography assistant. That was a real hang. That was a real hang of a job. But I was like, oh, take a picture of me in this. This is kind of funny.
You expect someone to buy this shirt from this mental patient?
And that's how I look, and that's how I remain to this day. For everybody listening, it's a oversized. It's me, a little younger, but not that much younger. In a white void, perfectly white void, because we know how to take pictures here.
Good separation, the backlighting. You're really separate.
Oh, Killian, you know what I'm talking. You know how to take a picture.
Oh yeah.
And anyway, and it's not easy to, white on white is sometimes gets pretty tricky. Anyway, it's an oversized shirt that reads Helmet in sans serif font. It's got like this scribbling on it. It's kind of like, and it was a nice texture. It was a nice, like, kind of like the shirt itself. So I guess I wanted to bring this up, Jamie, because this is an example of Malaise era Helmut Lang.
Yeah.
I think we were selling that shirt for maybe $150, $200. It might have sold for like $300 or $400 retail.
Yeah.
It was kind of a cool piece. I think it is a little try hard.
Yes.
But I think that the problem is most of the stuff that has come out of Malaise era Helmut Lang hasn't even at least been this interesting. Like, this is more interesting than most of it.
100%.
And it also, like I said, and I'm being kind of mean in bitchy, and I don't need to be, but I will.
Please.
This piece to me feels like it's unsure of itself, I guess. And you know,
Yeah.
I've never made a shirt, so take it with a grain of salt. But just like it's not like it doesn't come forward with like the kind of confidence of like it's Helmut Lang. It's
So
like, do you remember Helmut Lang?
So on your left side, it feels like it's trying to play in, I think, what was like the super hot at the time, looking at the timeline here. Like it's
Yeah, that was
there's
hot.
a little
That
bit
was
of
hot.
RAF there, but also
Yes.
this is when Off-White was popping off. Like it's
Yes.
100% hitting that
Yes,
same kind of
yes.
thing. But then the other side, you're in that old like Vivian Westwood, like Seditionaries kind of like punk, screw
rock
it.
and roll.
Yeah, kind of. It's like that, and they're not coexisting completely peacefully, you know.
And I get it. I think that ultimately that could be very deliberate in your design to like combine those two things, et cetera, et cetera. But I think it's the starboard side, the port side, the left side of me. That even that side, I feel like maybe is more Helmet, but it was so on the nose.
Yeah,
it was what Undercover was cool for at the moment. It was what RAF was cool for. It was what Virgil Rest in Paradise was doing, which is why it kind of feels a little not as meaningful.
And I just feel like a bit of a relic at this point. Looking at it, it's very interesting.
I had a funny caption for everybody listening.
Please.
And this is from a million years ago. It's in all caps. Somebody drew all over my dad's shirt, and now I'm in trouble. I thought that was funny. That's the face I'm doing, that I'm in trouble because you guys drew over my dad's shirt.
Hey, I'm really enjoying this, but I hate to do this to you, but I think, can we go like 10 minutes long today? Because I really want to brandomize, but also talk to people.
Okay.
All right, we're going to do it. So for those of you who haven't been around for the past few episodes, going to do a segment here. We've done a few of them. It's the Brandomizer. We've got a bunch of different brands put in here because there are brands out there that they're quietly doing their thing and they're just never doing anything super sick or super terrible or outrageous or like headline grabbing enough for us to talk about. So we threw them in a wheel. We're going to spin it and we're going to give our opinions about these kind of under the radar, under talked about potentially brands.
Spin the wheel, but we added Stone Island in.
We did.
It definitely does not fit that description. Underappreciated.
No, that's true. That's true.
But either way, when was the last time I spoke about Stone Island? So
exactly. That's kind of why I thought to put it in. It's like when we ever talk about that? If it lands on that, then we're gonna,
Then
it's close.
Givenchy. Sure. I almost want you to spin that wheel again. But I'll talk about Givenchy. For one, it's the only brand that I pronounce correctly, or at least not anglicized in any way. I don't say like Saint Laurent or like Louis Vuitton.
So why is that? Why is Givenchy the one that you do correctly?
Because I think there's something about it that's easy to remember. Just like the sounds of it. The sounds are so weird. It's like, oh, I'll never forget that.
Right.
Like, don't show me the letters. Don't show me the letters. You'll only confuse me. Givenchy.
It's true, though. The emphasis, it sticks with you once you get it, right?
Yeah. And for anybody who only speaks and reads in English, like me, that reads Givenchy. And
it does. Very, very much.
You'll never accidentally say it right if you didn't know. So I guess about Givenchy, it's a French brand by a French guy. It's been owned by Kering or LVMH for 100 years. One of them, I don't know which.
Which one is it?
It's probably one of them.
It's 100% one of them.
It's probably one of them. And Givenchy, I feel like, had the come up at least in, AD times after death. During Riccardo Tisci's tenure as a creative director, he was, when they first started doing this Kingmaker stuff, he was like the hot young whippersnapper who revitalized the brand. So without a doubt, his impact was felt. And from that point on, Givenchy, well, Riccardo Tisci's.
Go ahead.
Riccardo Tisci's Givenchy was ahead of the curve in terms of the marriage between streetwear and high fashion. Think of the Star Prince, think of the Rottweiler, think of
the Sharks,
the Sharks, think of the like Bambi bags and all those different bags they did. Is there a creative director of Givenchy I'm forgetting? Well, I mean, there was obviously multiple others, but
after that, I forget her name, but it was, I think of them as the Dark Times.
Yeah, that's a Malaise era.
4 or 5 year period where it was just like they were around. Everyone, I think, was still, or somebody was still buying the like logo T-shirts and hoodies and stuff because they were still everywhere.
Somebody's always buying.
But from like a design perspective, like it was just not literally nothing. Claire, they recognized that eventually, and
Claire
brought
Keller.
in.
Yeah,
what is it? What's the name?
Claire Keller from 2017 to 2020, so 3 years. Riccardo Tisci. In retrospect, my cat just opened my door, is meowing at me. Riccardo Tisci was the creative director for 12 years, so from 2005 to 2017. That's a long time to do a job.
Very.
Let alone a big boy job. So, needless to say, that goes to show how impactful and successful he was in the role. And then from 2020 to present, the creative director has been Matthew Williams. That's right. The same Matthew Williams who is dating Lady Gaga.
And the one thing that I want to call out on that, just to like kind of set this up, because there are a couple things that I think he did like immediately that were very interesting and very important.
I'm listening.
They, I think, dropped like a ton of their stockists. Like anybody that was massively discounting them and like, oversaturating them, they were just like, no. They went way more exclusive on who they would allow to stock them. And the prices went way up. Like on screen here, if you're not watching, there's a destroyed windbreaker in nylon, retail price of $11,000 USD.
Mamma mia.
Givenchy was not charging that much for, I think, literally anything before Matthew Williams came.
That's Mr. Williams. He must have been spending a lot of time with Eddie, Slim Man, who said, and he asked, he was like, Eddie, what do I do? How do you revitalize a French brand? And he's like, it's very easy. You go in there and you make everything very expensive. And then people are like, it must be good.
Right.
Because it's way more expensive.
So what do you actually think of the modern day Givenchy?
Well, if my videos and me just saying Helmut Lang's one of my favorite brands is anything to go by, I also really like Matthew Williams. I've liked him. I'm eager to say that even if he's like not cool anymore, because I feel like people think that. But I'm like, I wasn't just in it for the trend. I like his sense. Like I like this kind of industrial looks. So I think that him being at Givenchy is great. And I try to stay up to date with his runways, and kind of like when Demna joined Balenciaga, Vetements is to Balenciaga, to Alix is to Givenchy.
Sure.
You're definitely seeing like kind of the adulting or the more capacity and more restriction of Matthew Williams' design sense. I'm
sorry.
Oh my God.
We just found out that Givenchy makes a teddy bear. Don't let anybody see that.
Don't let anybody out.
Yeah.
So I think it's like Alix, if you had to do it more, you had more money to do it, and you had to just put more into it. Right. And it looks that way. And for those reasons, I like it. But I wouldn't blame anybody who maybe thought like it wasn't changing the game enough.
Sure.
And that's just one of my kind of biases and flaws. Is like I recognize that. I recognize that you could say this isn't innovative enough, especially for such a big house. I get it. I do like a lot of the runway looks. I do like how I just like that kind of style. I like that kind of style. And he's one of the few designers who's kind of been steadfast in being kind of like slim silhouettes when everybody was like wider and wider.
Sure.
So, you know.
I think, yeah, I'll kind of lukewarmly agree with you. Uh,
Okay.
Obviously, I kind of unapologetically lean into like the hot topic aesthetic in certain ways. Like
Hmm.
I respond to it. So obviously, there's something I respond to in his Givenchy as well.
That makes
Um,
sense. That makes sense.
I think it's kind of like it's Alix with an atelier at its fingertips, right?
Yeah.
But I think he's also found a little bit of that Riccardo Tisci kind of like metal vibe that wasn't really in Alix as much.
Yeah, I
Um,
think there is still like a Ricardo Tisci kind of like
yeah,
glossy obnoxiousness.
right,
Like, because I think what Ricardo did well as Givenchy was it was obnoxious without going like some strange gaudy place.
mhm,
It was obnoxious and shocking and loud, but like kind of somehow in some way French sophisticated
right,
too, which I think is kind of like that's like the magic behind what he did at Givenchy. So I do think that Williams is channeling that a little
mhm,
bit, you know, because these pieces, like almost everything is monochromatic.
yep.
And even when it is like logo-y, it's still like it has a lot better taste than
And one
some
thing
people.
that it's got as I'm looking through these, like there's a lot of branded t-shirts and
Yeah,
hoodies and stuff.
logo
And like,
mania.
but every time I'm going past these things, these accessories and bags and jewelry are all really good and really appealing in a way like
Mhm.
I haven't thought about a Givenchy bag or accessory, or I didn't before Matthew and Williams came on. Like it wasn't registering with me at all, you know.
Uh-huh.
But
I'm
these,
trying to think.
I see them and I'm like, oh, you know.
Yeah. When you grow up, Killian, when
Yep.
you're a big boy and
Mhm,
you start doing things,
mhm,
like knowing all of the big designer bags is like
mhm,
I feel like that's something you have to know if you work in like high fashion. And I'm
mhm.
trying to think of Givenchy's right now. Because like, like Gucci's like the
Sure.
Dion, Dionysus
Dionysus, right?
Dionysus and like the classic flap or
Yeah.
you just remember all these names or like
The
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 city
big
bag or the
Givenchy
moto bag.
bag is the Antigona.
Antecedent. Yeah,
This one.
Aunt Jemima.
Yeah.
That's true. Not like with that cross body. Well, at least
No,
I guess that's
no.
the reflip. That's the flip.
It's gotta be more under women.
Yeah.
Hold
I
on.
don't know. I'm trying to think of like what are the big bags that people always go
I've
for
seen
from
them popping
Givenchy.
off.
Yeah. Um.
Hmm,
Ah. Hmm, huh,
huh.
hmm,
That's just gonna be the rest of the podcast.
yeah. Ah. Kitty, be
Yeah.
quiet.
I don't
Um.
recognize a ton of these actually, now that I'm
No, it's
seeing
not
them.
my deal.
Yeah. I
Maybe
think
I'm
this is
just
the
tired of you.
Antigona is the biggest one.
Antigone. Like the
Yeah.
old country.
Right, right.
Uh at the end of the day, I
Yeah.
would say this. I bet I care more about Matthew Williams Givenchy than most people
Mhm.
because I kind of pay attention to it. It
Mhm.
feels also like what are their names? Luke and Lucy, I think. Luke and Lucy Mayer
At
of
Jill Sander.
yeah, Jill Sander.
Yeah.
Like I really like that stuff, but
Mhm.
I think it's similarly maybe not exploding
Right.
because
Right.
you could definitely tell like when a designer hits the scene and changes the game, you could tell.
I
And I
just
think
thought of
like Daniel Lee was the last one to do that like that, honestly.
we need to find Givenchy. This is immediately getting replaced with OAMC for next time. You
I
just
can
made
show
me
you
think
guys
of
my
that.
bomber. I have a few pieces from them still.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a brand that I used to own more, and then you have no money, so you
Yeah.
sell them.
Right, right.
But
But
I
that
guess
is the definition, I think, of like under discussed brand,
yeah,
you know?
Truby, and that's why I have it because I'm kind of
You
you
get it,
know
you know?
I'm kind of cool. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
you like a thing? I only like something that's obscure. You know,
All right, let's make sure we
let's
chat with the adoring public for a bit.
All right.
You
If they
know?
have any good questions,
Anybody in here? I want to make sure we get back to. I know you answered this, but Machiavelli. If
Oh
you're still
yes,
here, if you're still
let's.
here, or if you happen to watch this back later, he said, "Guys, next week I have my graduate show at university. I'm a fashion student. Next podcast, could I send my collection in? Hell yes,
300%.
yes.
Do we have an email for the? We do have an email
We
for the
do. Yeah,
pod,
yeah, yeah.
but I've
I am
never
going.
looked at it.
I am going to put it in chat and then promote that to being on screen.
But I guess you could probably set up some kind of alert where it tells you on your real email.
Yes, for sure.
So, Machiavelli, if you want to send in your collection, send it, or at least send us an email to this email.
Yeah.
So that we can set it up.
thebiasedcutpod@gmail.com.
I'll never be able to remember that. Sass asked, where's the cat?
Where's the cat?
Well, she opened my door and came in here and started yelling, meow, meow. You probably didn't see her because she's short and she walks on the floor.
Short cat. That's unthinkable.
Yeah. I think she got bored because she saw I wasn't
as they do.
Immediately doing something with her. But she doesn't like it when the door is closed. You know, she doesn't like to feel like she's being left out. So she always has to have the doors open.
So we're going to get called out for our laziness here. Another Christian. Did y'all film anything together when y'all met in person?
No. I was driving that day and it was like
we barely remember to take a picture together.
I know.
It literally almost didn't even happen. So definitely no filming.
I mean, maybe I'm trying to get Killian to the big city. And that's the Windy City, the city of brotherly love, the city of lights.
Me and Christian, we're like real friends. It's not all about the content for us, okay?
Yeah, okay, guys. We actually are like, we got each other's backs. We're bros.
Right. Yeah.
And as soon as the cameras turn off, my personality just like switches, and I'm like I'm like pissy, and I'm like mean to you, Killian, because it's all business to me.
Yeah, you're just Chat GPT.
Yeah, I am.
When the cameras are off.
What I was saying was, if Killian comes to visit me in New York, the city I live in, maybe we'll film something.
Please, I'm in.
I don't know, but we didn't that day because we just met each other, so we weren't sure if like we were about to get catfished. I'm sure.
Right.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, he might try to catfish me. Favorite fashion influences in TV?
And TV, that's hard because I feel like movies tend to have much more specific like costume design than TV.
Yeah.
I can think of lots of movies where I could just be like, that. TV,
this is like a Fight Club shirt, in case you're wondering. There's like one of the scenes where Brad Pitt is wearing like a suit in a like 70s. So there you go. That's an example.
That's one of the later scenes. Is that in the hotel room when he's like after Edward Norton has kind of figured it all out?
Yeah. I think he has shaped his head at this point.
Yes, exactly.
In terms of TV, what I'm thinking, I guess Succession is the boring answer, but
the boring one.
They're cool pieces. There's cool fits in that.
White
Lotus.
White Lotus also has some good stuff.
I was gonna say, and don't call me a pervert, but Euphoria.
I think of course, for sure,
very influential.
Very.
What else is like
HBO?
A TV?
Just watch
HBO. HBO in general.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. I'm getting a lot of fit ideas from that. The Last of Us. I'm like
Last Week Tonight.
Yeah. I'm like, Jon Stewart is one sexy man. I mean, John Oliver.
Same guy.
Yeah.
HBO.
HBO. Summer. Stussy.
Summer predictions.
Summer is a really bad season for me, fashion-wise. I don't know. It's like I need to go to therapy about it. I live in the Northeast. I've lived in the Northeast my whole life. Layers are the Joie de Viva fashion,
Hmm.
and summer's tough for me because I sweat a lot to
Yeah.
start with, and I just find it harder to get fits off. But do I
Yeah.
predict that Stussy tees are going to be the hot trend of the summer? Sure. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like they're having a moment, right? That seems to make sense.
Stussy, I think, is like that's like if somebody was like they've always been cool, I'd go, you're right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Exactly. I
So
think I don't know how like relevant it is, but I can speak personally. I've been like kind of obsessively like researching and looking for shirts pretty much like the one you're wearing, Christian, like silky,
yes,
drapey, deep V camp collar type short sleeve button ups.
yeah.
That's just what I'm like feeling for this summer personally.
Oh, that is. I mean, I'm not trying to story top you, but
Mm,
at least for like the last 5 years, that has definitely been my focus every
yeah,
summer. I'm like, if I can find these, I'll buy these. Which is
yeah.
why when we were talking about Casablanca, why
Right.
I was surprised you immediately like now because the
So
only thing I knew about Casablanca was that you can buy summer shirts from them.
we didn't talk about the one clothing item I bought on my trip. And Abby, my partner, was a beast for this because I told her going in, I'm looking for shirts like this type of fabric, this type of cut. Help me out when we go to these places. Keep an eye out. At Holt Renfrew, they had a Casablanca rack, and Abby was instantly like, "Those, right? Those ones. That's what you're looking for."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Well, actually, it
Well,
wasn't quite right.
actually,
The just the patterns." So I think I have this like right here.
so wait, did she peer pressure you into buy a Casablanca?
I did not. I did not.
Okay.
Uh, but it kind of, I think, somewhat surprisingly, was not what I was expecting to get. But the one piece I picked up on the trip was this CDLP piece, viscose camp
Okay.
collar with like this white contrast stitching all around it.
Sure. Classic look for a
Yeah,
classic boy. Sounds nice. I'm not familiar with the brand.
they are. I wasn't either. I looked it up after I bought it. They're like a Swedish kind of essentials type house, like a
Okay.
Acne earlier Acne kind of vibes, from
Or
what I can
like,
tell.
where are they in relationship to Acne or Our Legacy
In terms of the
or
design or the price point.
Sentimentality? I don't know. Oh, both.
So I think somewhat more Acne-esque. I think that's where I go with it.
Okay.
Also, it seems like
Cool.
a focus on like materials, maybe sustainability, stuff like that.
Sustainability, gross.
I know.
I want the planet to be dead. I want to burn this sucker
Burn it
down.
down.
Yeah. That's fun. That was a fun ending, dude.
You
And
go.
I still had a million things I could have talked about.
Same.
Um,
Same. I had one
maybe
subject I was ready to get to, but we'll get there.
well, how about teasers for next time? You can ask me about. Did Christian find a fashion store in West Virginia? Those
I
words
like
don't seem
that.
to make sense,
I
right?
like that.
Let's see what happens. And Killian will finally admit his fear of snakes.
Balenciaga comments.
Balenciaga comments.
Comment sections on posts about Balenciaga. My greatest
Tune in
fear.
next time to see on the
Us.
Bias Cut.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys. You know where to find
We
me.
love you.
And if you don't, I mean, come on, read a book, you know?
He's got the @ next to his name.
I got the
Watch
@
the
right
video
next to
on
my name.
YouTube. Find him there.
I'm Christian, and my channel is Brave New Wear on YouTube, and my Instagram is Christian_Shabetta. And it's not spelled the way it sounds.
No.
So good luck, sucker. Good luck, idiot.
Maybe just go to me, go to Low Luxury, and look at my who I'm following, and
Yeah,
you'll
that's
just
what I
scroll
would
for a
do.
while, and that's how you find Christian.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
That's
Thanks,
it, guys.
everybody.
My neck is killing me, so we
Have a
gotta
good
go.
night.
Bye.